And we're back. Welcome to another episode of Marketing, Sales, and Relationships for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Yeah, that's me. I'm Sidan Long. And it's Monday. That's right, it's Monday. And today, what we're talking about is, do I need to go viral in order to make money online? Now, one of the top questions I really get asked a lot, or at least the statements when we're having these make money fast calls, is about content and people watching your content and how many people are actually watching it. And most people, most business owners, the belief is that, man, I need more views. I need to get more views. I need to get my likes up. I need to get my follows up. And as a business owner, that's probably not true. And that's what we're going to break down today. We're going to break down why that's probably not true. Because as somebody who's gotten, 3,000, 4,000 views on videos and not seen a dime from it, who's had clients who've gotten 50,000 views, not seen a client from it, and also seeing clients get 4 or 5 views and get three or four customers out of it. As a business owner, I have to ask you, which one would you prefer? Would you prefer 50,000 to 100,000 views of one video, or would you prefer a video that does maybe 100 views but gets you 5 or 6 people calling you? Okay. This is for the people who would prefer to get people on the phone, who would prefer to get people in their pipeline, who would prefer to get people to actually engage in their business, in regard to getting a appraisal, setting up an appointment, um, setting up a reservation to come out, getting a consult. This is for those people, because what you'll find out is that going viral does not always mean that people are going to engage. So first thing let's talk about is there's 3 phases. As a business owner, there's 3 phases to your content marketing. There's 3 phases. Okay. The 3 phases are discovery, engagement, and commitment. Okay. Now, let's start off with discovery. What does it mean when I say discovery when we're talking about content marketing? I'm talking about people who do not know you becoming familiar with who you are. Okay. Number one, people who do not know you becoming familiar with who you are. Now, secondly, people rediscovering you. People who maybe saw you before, haven't seen you in a while, forgot about you, rediscovering you. So we have people who don't know you, finding out who you are. They were watching some other videos and then yours came on. They were scrolling through their timeline and then they saw your post. They were scrolling through the timeline and they heard your voice. And then there's the people who rediscover you. People who maybe watched you, or people who maybe knew you, or people who maybe met you somewhere. And they're like, oh, she got a podcast now. Or, oh, she's having a sale. Or, oh, she's going live. So that's the first stage, because you can't get to a sale if people don't know who you are. You can't ask for a sale if people don't watch the videos. So the first thing you want to do, and this is how you want to see it, it's like people have to discover or rediscover me. So in order to be discovered or rediscovered, you have to have something that is similar to things that they've watched in the past. In order to be discovered or rediscovered, you have to have something that is similar to things that they've watched in the past. Now you're saying, well, why do I need something similar to something they've watched in the past? Because like I just said before, if it's on their timeline, it's usually falling into whatever the algorithm is procuring for them to watch, which is typically things similar to things they've already watched. So before you start boosting ads, or before you start running around trying to hire a marketing person, the first thing you probably want to do is start looking at what your particular group of customers are watching already. Who are the people they follow? What are the brands they buy? What are the solutions that they're using to solve their problem currently? You know what your competition looks like. And if you start watching your competition, They show up on your timeline. So if you're watching the competition, they show up on your timeline. The same thing's happening for people who would potentially be your customer. Give you an example. I found out one time that a client I had, that their competitors were stealing my copy. Copy meaning the things that I write in order to get people's attention when creating posts, videos, and ads. How did I find out? Because I was searching my client and making sure that we were saying the right things and making sure that what I prepared and shipped out to him to get done and for his team to get done was actually coming out the way I wanted it to come out. Because what I'll do from day to day, week to week, is I'll literally go through, look at all the things that we've created. I'll look at the comments. I'll look at how people are receiving it. If it's clear, if it looks good, not just if it looks good, but if it looks good and what people are saying, because both are equally as important. So in the process of doing that, here comes the competition. And then all of a sudden, I start noticing, oh, they're saying some stuff that sounds very similar to what we're saying. Call my client up. I'm like, oh, so I see we have somebody who's, if you're old school, biting our rhymes, so to speak. But we have somebody who's copying what we do, which for me was a compliment and a challenge. Like, oh, okay. If you want to copy what I do, I'm going to make it real good so that you have something really good to copy. Because it showed me that we were actually starting to be a thorn in their side, that we were actually starting to take customers away from them, that people were talking about us to them, and that they saw what we were doing and saw us as a threat. Big old company, our small little company. But they started copying what we were doing. Wow, impressive. But the point is, if you're at home, whatever you're watching, social media is going to show you more of it. If you watch big butts, it's going to show you more big butts. If you watch travel, it's going to show you more travel. So in order to be discovered or rediscovered, the first thing you have to do is figure out what your customers are watching. If you're watching Kendrick and Drake beef stuff, they're going to show you more Kendrick and Drake beef stuff. It's going to come up in the form of suggested content. So now you know what they're watching, you know what they're talking about, you know what the questions are that they have, because these are the things that they're searching out. And before we go any further, one of the number one reasons people really don't succeed is because they're just not prepared enough. So if you really like some help researching this stuff and getting a really good system put together, not just a plan, because a plan is something you think will work, but a system is something that we know is working and it's been working for quite some time. So if you'd like to adopt my system and adapt it to yours so that you can start seeing the results that you hope to see for you and your family and you and your company and you and your team, go to grownandrich.com. That's right, go over to grownandrich.com. But anyway, as I was saying, the prepared piece, know what they're watching so that you can start to create content that's going to get you in the suggested content category, because you watched this in the past category. You watch things similar to this category. Okay. Now, does that mean you're going to go viral? Absolutely not. But what it will do is it'll get you these discovers and rediscovers that we talk about. It'll get you to pop up on people's timelines without having to boost ads. Because they're already watching it, and we know that the platforms are all battling for your attention, because your attention helps them grow their ad revenue. The more people watch, the more eyeballs on products. So whereas before people be trying to sell you airtime on the radio, people be trying to sell you airtime on television stations, now YouTube's just allowing you to do it for free, and then they go out and they sell people ad time. So they're not trying to sell it to you unless it's in the form of boosting an ad. What they're doing is they're looking for the next superstars, the next Mr. Beast, or someone like that people are going to watch. The next, what's my guy the with the hats? Eric Thomas, yeah. The next Eric Thomas that can get eyeballs. Because what will happen is now Eric Thomas is getting views, or Mr. Beast is getting views, or Jay Shetty's getting views, or Donald Miller's getting views, or whoever's getting views, then they'll start sticking those ads in there for people who don't pay for the platform to be adless. And what they'll do is they'll go and they'll say, hey, man, look at how many views we're getting on this particular thing. That will work better for you than trying to be on ABC. That will work better for you than trying to be on the radio. So, with that being said, the rediscovery phase, man, the discovery phase is where you really have to focus. And the first thing in trying to be discovered or rediscovered is creating something that you know people are already watching. It ain't biting. It's not copying. It's literally just picking the topics and the subjects that people are interested in. You know, that's why you see so many vloggers, video bloggers, talking about whatever the current issue is. If it's Sexy Red, they're talking about Sexy Red. If it's Drake, they're talking about Drake. If it's Caitlin Clark, they're talking about Caitlin Clark. That is why they blow things out of proportion, because you who aren't watching the games are going to watch all the clips and they're going to say, oh my God, she should be suspended immediately. So what do? Now you look because you want to see the car crash. You want to see what they do to Caitlin Clark. Oh my God, she's my hero or shero. And then you look and you're like, oh man, it ain't nothing. But guess what? That's going to count as a view. That's going to count as an insight. That's going to count as an impression. And YouTube, X, whoever, they're going to use that to help them sell more ad dollars, so get more ad revenue and sell more ads. But you can use the same thing. You can you can play the same game. And here's because everything has a hold on moment. And here's our hold on moment. You don't want to get caught up in a game of let me follow all the current trends. You don't want to get caught up in that unless that's what you do. Because again, at the same time, you're building a brand. And a brand is three things. A brand is what you say. A brand is what people say. And a brand is what the people who've experienced what you do say. So if people are watching your videos, if people are watching your content, and all of your content is about something other than what you do as a business, then what are they going to say? Oh, they're going to say, oh, that's the girl that be talking about all the gossip. They're not going to say she's a business coach or a life coach. They're going to say, oh, that's the girl that always showed the sneakers. They're not going to say, oh, she's the therapist. So there's a fine line between, current events, pop culture, and your business. Now, maybe you can go 3-to-1, business post, one lifestyle post. But still, the ones that you're trying to get engagement with, which is what we're going to move to in a second, the ones you're trying to get engagement with are the ones that you know are going to lead to some business. The ones that are going to be watched by people who have a problem that your business can solve. Because if there's no problem, there's no reason to give you any money. And if you're a business owner at home right now watching this, or in your car listening to it, or watching it later, your business eats money, right? That AC that's running right now, because we got this heat wave in the Midwest, that's going to cost you some money, right? So if you don't have any sales coming in, or it's really hard to get sales, which means that it takes all your time and it takes a long time for it to convert, and you got to call them 1,700 times, and you don't actually know when the money's going to show up, that's going to create some stress, right? You keep taking all these meetings and people keep telling you they're going to call you back. But meanwhile, light and gas, landlord, mortgage, those people are like, hey, we need our money on this day. Or we're going to ding your credit, or we're going to take your car, or we're going to fine you, or charge you an additional fee for being late. So before you go creating a whole bunch of content trying to get views, realize that who's viewing it is extremely important. Because you could get a lot of views from people who never buy anything from you. So the going viral part might be great. I got a whole bunch of views. People watched. But if nobody bought, did that or did it not help you? Now here's a term I want you at home to commit to your memory. And that term is called lost opportunity cost. Okay. Lost opportunity cost. So if an opportunity that you could have had, you missed out on or isn't available anymore, or you tricked it off or you wasted your time. Okay. Yes, I didn't get it. I didn't get the contract. I didn't get the sale. I didn't get whatever. I put the video out. Yeah, it went viral, but I didn't get any calls back from it. You didn't just lose the opportunity at that sale because that sale went somewhere. Okay. Question is, where did that sale go? Because that sale went to your competition. Then the referral probably went to your competition. Okay. Then the repeat business probably went to your competition. So let's just say you sell something that's $20. Okay. $20 went over there. But if customers typically buy from you 3 to 4 times, that wasn't $20, that was $80. Okay. So the $80 went over there, not 20. Plus the referral that they would have given, because people typically give you a referral, which is another $80. So now $160 went over there because I lost the business. I lost the referral that comes from that business. And then here's the third thing that you have to consider. If you do a really wonderful job and there's a testimonial available, then I lost the opportunity that whatever that testimonial would attract as well, or that endorsement, or that ability to put that company as one of the companies I work with on my website. So I'm not just losing a sale. I'm losing a referral, and I'm losing the opportunity for some free promotion from the person that I did business with. And that free promotion from a person who's actually experienced it is extremely important. Because remember, we said a brand was what you say, what people say, and what the people who've experienced it say. Because people could be saying, like one of my clients the other day, they were talking about, how, his car was rented and talking about, how, what he was saying was a scam. But the cool thing, somebody who had experienced it jumped in the comments and started saying, nope, that's not how it works. Nope, that's not what it's about. Nope, that actually is his car. Nope. And just started chopping away at all these haters because they had actually experienced it. And they were actually able to say, hey, man, within a short period of time, this dude raised my credit score, helped me get a line of credit for my business. He walked me through it step by step. So, again, look at what you miss out on when you don't get the sale. Because not only did you get the business and the referral that came with that business and the free promotion from the testimonial, he actually got a person who jumped in the comments and defended him to other people. What would it do for your business if your customers were the ones who were slashing and dicing and stabbing and pushing and shoving and beating back the haters? Not literally beating and stabbing, but I mean, if they were fighting and pushing verbally to defend you against the people who were attacking you, how would that work? I've experienced him. I vouch for him. I know he's a good person. What would that look like? What would that do for your business? Ballpark figure. If you had 3 people who were really championing you, saying how great you were, how do you think that would affect sales? Ballpark number. Now, if you took 2 or 3 customers from the competition every week, how do you think that would affect your business? If you had to put it in numbers, what would that look like? Would that look like an extra $100, extra $300, extra $3,000? Just by getting customers that should be yours anyway. They're yours. You letting them slip through your fingers. But if you were getting them, what would that do to your competition? How would that even the playing field, so to speak? And not only that, what would you be able to do with that money over time? Again, we still on the lost opportunity cost. Because another thing, got another client who does grants, and here's something I know beyond a shadow of a doubt. Grant money, lines of credit are easier to get when you have a proven track record of sales. Hear people all the time say they go into banks with their business plan and get turned down. I hear people fill out these forms for grants and they get turned down. And what you have to understand at home is that these people who are turning you down are saying that you are not worth risking their job over. The guy sitting in this bank who has a family and kids and a aging parent and a kid in college, or who has a mortgage or a car note, he's looking at your business plan going, yeah, they never sold anything before. Yeah, but they're not even really talking about putting down none of their own money. Yeah, I'm not risking my job over this one. Next. Currently, statistically, about 50% of people are getting turned down for business or for personal credit. And if you're a personal guarantee on your business, then that will affect you. So again, you're going to need to get these customers. And if you're using social media, you're going to need them to see you. Because if they can't see you, then you can't sell to them. So every time you do something that does not get you in front of the people who are most likely to want to give you some money, you're costing yourself so much money. And you can't get back the time it took to create the thing that nobody watched. But before your reaction to nobody watching is to then do something that is super trendy, that is going to get you a bunch of views, but no views from people who are most likely to give you some money, watch this video. Look at your competition. Look at the people who are successful in your industry. Look at the people who your customers are using to solve their problem currently. And figure out how to make something similar to that, except talking about your own business. For example, if you are in, let's see, what's something? If you're in the daycare business, 5 best daycares in the country. One thing we have in common with the 5 best daycares in the country is that we all believe in the following. Okay. If you know that STEM is important, you talk about STEM in regards to your daycare. Because you know that your customers are probably going to want kids who are proficient in STEM. That those things are going to be important down the line for their kids. So that's what they're probably going to be watching. If you do hair, okay, you're going to talk about things that hairstylists are talking about, the best products, the newest cuts. Why? So after they watch their favorite person's video, then they watch yours. Think about it. How many podcasts have you discovered not paying attention when your podcast or the short that you watched ended? How many TikToks have you seen for $1 Million Baby because you watched $1 Million Baby TikTok? Or when Beyonce was doing her thing, how many of those freaking I Feel Like Falling in Love videos did you see because you watched one? Same thing applies. So get in line with what your customers are watching. Normally I would say answer the questions that your customers have, but I want to make it as simple as possible. Just look at what's successful that your competition is doing and make your own versions of that. That way you don't have to think as much about, well, what questions are my customers asking? And if you really want to know what your customers are asking, go into the comments of your competition and look at what they're saying. Look at what they're saying about them being a scammer. Look at what they're saying about what they're saying works. Look at what they're saying about their experiences are. Get all of that little insight, because that's what people are really thinking in their head. You know, one of the things that I discovered while looking at the comments of a client the other day is that there's a difference between impossible and difficult. What do I mean? I mean that he's in the credit to wealth business, and people were talking about how impossible it was to get business credit. And then, like I said, somebody jumped in and was like, "No, I had a 720 score and $100,000 in cash, and I got a $50,000 line of credit in a couple hours." Again, yeah, impossible, difficult. So now you could say, "Hey, man, we went in with our business plan and they shot us down. We went through a couple rounds and people almost gave us the money, and we were sitting there and we had hopes up, and then ultimately they dashed our hopes." But now the thing that, for me, that I would look at that and say is like, okay, cool. Why did they dash your hopes? Did they dash your hopes because you didn't have enough sales? Did they dash your hopes because you hadn't been in business long enough? Did they dash your hopes because your paperwork wasn't in order? Yeah. Because those things are correctable. You know, if you didn't have enough sales, hey, figure out, how to get your sales up. I know you're saying, well, if we have the money, then we would. No, that's not necessarily true. Because I know a lot of people with a lot of money who can't figure out a doggone thing when it comes to getting a sale. But for you, you go back, you watch these videos. Man, if we need to get our sales up, man, where are we leaving meat on the bone? Do we have a mailing list of people that we aren't communicating with? No. Do we have holes in our referral program? Have we not reached out to our top customers and asked them to do videos and do interviews and elevate and celebrate them so that they could then act as a beacon of hope to pull in other customers? Or are we just complaining, saying they didn't give me what I want? If you got turned down and it was because of sales, I just gave you 3 real things that you could do to get 5, 10, 15 customers over the next 90 days. My challenge to you is to do it. To go out, find your best customers. Because if you find your best customers, they're happy with you. They've experienced you. They have a different perspective on your brand than anybody else because they've seen it at its best. And not only do you want to interview them and elevate and celebrate them, you want to ask what improvements they'd like to see. Why? Because if you make those improvements, then it's even better than it was before, which gets you even better results than you got before. If you don't have a solid referral program, hell, go through your customer list. Ask everybody if they know anybody. The cool thing about asking somebody if they know somebody is that some of the people are going to actually do business with you again just because now you're on their mind again. Just because now you brought up you're having a sale. Just because you brought up the fact that the thing that they did business with you over a year ago about is still available and they can get it again. Except it's a better version now. That's what iPhone does. We're not still on iPhone 1. I don't know what iPhone we're on now. But they keep going back to those same people and saying, hey, man, you know anybody who want a new iPhone? Because we got some new ones coming out. And then the old iPhone users are like, oh, really? You got new ones coming out? I need one. It's just a way to get in to the conversation. But if you're not doing that, did you get turned down because they didn't like you? Or because it's a scam? Or it's because you're not working hard enough? People always make these assumptions about people who are working twice as hard as they are. No, reality is sometimes people are working 5, 10, 15 times as hard as you are in the same industry as you. And if they're working 5, 10, 15, 20 times as hard as you, they're probably going to get a better result than you. And here's the crazy thing about scammers. The hardest working people in any industry are usually the people who are running the scams. Why? Because they know that they have to get as much money as fast as they can get it before people discover that they aren't very good at what they do. So by the time you figure out that this is a scam, by the time the bad press starts to hit, by the time that all the people who invested in the Ponzi scheme start to realize that they're not getting a return on their money, those people want to be gone. They want to get lost in a web of S Corps and LLCs and voicemails and emails to where you can't find them. But if people are working this hard to scam the customers in your industry, usually the best customers in your industry, then you're gonna have to work harder, right? Or you're gonna have to maybe do something else, like go get a job. So again, we're still in this discovery phase. We're still in the rediscovery phase. And if you get your rediscovery and discovery phase right, now what'll happen is that money will start to grow because you'll have more people who are qualified to judge whether or not you're good at what you do, making a decision as to whether or not they want to do business with you. People who can tell that your craftsmanship is significantly higher than the competition. People who know enough about barbecue or macaroni and cheese or soul food or seafood to really judge whether or not this is a good deal, this is a good purchase, this is some good food, which then in turn makes the quality of your testimonials go up, which in turn makes the quality of your referrals go up and gets you more customers like the customers that give you the money in the reviews. The idea is I want somebody who knows something about it. I want an enthusiast. I want somebody who really fool with whatever it is that I do to endorse me. If you're a cigar aficionado and a new brand of cigars comes out and that person is well respected within the cigar community that they move around in and they say, hey man, this particular cigar, I've never smoked anything this good, especially not at this price. Everybody that knows that person is going to say, oh, I respect John. I respect John's opinion. I'm going to go out and get it. But you got to get to John. And you can't just go to John and say, hey, try my cigar. Because people do that to John all the time. And John, I'm tired of making people money by endorsing cigars that ain't that good. So you have to entice John into doing something to help you by making him think it's his idea. Oh man, I think I'm going to try those. But John wants to try those because he's been watching videos on his phone while he's in the airport. And he saw yours go by and he saw that you were talking about something that he had knowledge about and had an interest in and was curious about or needed to know more about. So now you're on his radar. Now, maybe he doesn't do anything the first time. But if John watches 2, 3 more videos and the next time he's in the place where your cigars are being sold, he tries one. Maybe he reaches out to you online and says, how do I get them shipped to whatever city I'm in? And you build a relationship with him and you get some contact information and now you guys are friends and you do a video with him and now people in his community see you. And it all starts to be people discovering you because you did an interview with John, because John gave you a plug, because John testified on your behalf, because John shared your post, because John did something to endorse you. Okay. So now other people discover you. And some of the people who forgot about you rediscover you because they follow John. John's the leader in their industry. John the cool person in their city. John's the guy who's the guy. And because John's the guy who's the guy, all the guys who want to be the guy follow John. So you gotta get on John's radar. And there are millions of Johns all over the country. There are millions of guys who buy drinks in the bar and go to the same place all the time, and they're regular in there that constantly invite people out to kick it with them. If you get those guys on your team, guess what? They bring people with them. Give you one more example before we get out of here for today. Shout out to the homie Big Sean. Baby. Sean was a very good friend of mine who's gone home to be with the Lord. And we used to do comedy on Friday nights at a place called Giovanni's. But during the week, Sean would be out promoting. So one afternoon, I worked at a particular store. Sean used to come in all the time and chop it up with us. He was like, man, what you doing tomorrow? I'm like, oh, man, I'm off. He's like, dude, pull up. We're going to go promote the show. Here's what happened. We get out. We hit a few malls. We hit a few places. We get something to eat. We running into people. We chit-chatting. I'm passing out flyers. People asking us questions about who's going to be there and what type of vibe it is. Is it a spot that they want to go to? Where is it at? Is it safe? Then we get to Friday. Man, like 5 or 6 of those people that we ran into on my off day actually showed up with 3 or 4 more people. So what do you know? Next thing I know, every week, hey man, you want to roll with me? And, I'm young at the time. Off day rolling around with the homie. Sound like a good time. We eat, we drink, we laugh, we joke. We meet new people. Maybe we grab a few, articles of clothing, something fly, something fresh. But every week, people are bringing more people and the place is starting to get packed. And as the place started to get packed, my bill got lower and lower to the point where I wasn't paying for anything. You know why? Because every week people kept coming in and packing the place out. And he's like, man, I got to keep my guy happy because he's helping me grow my business. Because people we invited the first week came back the second week and the third week and the fourth week. And then those same people started having birthday parties, started having baby showers, started bringing their friends down there to eat on a Tuesday and watch the Bulls. So this little trip to the mall, hanging out with the homie, turned into business. Repeat business, referral business. Hell, I even would run into people and see them getting food to go. So if a little trip to the mall turned into somebody who brought 3 or 4 of their people out multiple times, then had a baby shower there, and on any given moment may be popping up and grabbing a pizza and some wings and some cheese bread because they really like the food, what did it really cost Sean? Not much. But the fact that he was with me and I was able to influence some of the people that we ran into, those actually turned into sales. Shout out to Giovanni, shout out to SK, it was an era. But with that being said, man, the discovery part, they didn't know about Giovanni's on a Friday night. They discovered it. But they discovered it because they ran into somebody who was promoting it and who made a compelling argument as to why they should pull up. So, again, you got to get people to discover you or rediscover you. Because once you do those 2 things, what will end up happening is now you have an opportunity to turn them into a lifelong customer, and you won't have to suffer from whatever the lost opportunity cost is. So go back, man, watch this video all the way through. And if you have any questions, because I know we're at the mid-year point. We're at the mid-year point, and maybe your marketing guy then pissed you off, or maybe, you realize that this is way too big of a pull for you to try to do on your own, because I got to try to run the business, I got to try to create the content, I got to try to send the emails, it's just all too much, I can't do it. If that kind of feeling is running around in your head or in your life, man, go to growingrich.com. We have a team of people who can help you in a variety of ways that ultimately are going to affect your business in a positive way. And if you go over there, you click the Just Get Started button, that's going to get you free 30 with me. Free 30 with me. And anything during that call that you are able to discover or uncover about how your business could run better, you get to use for free, man. So you might be able to, have a 30 with me and then get off the phone and go get some sales. And if you haven't had any in a while, that might not be a bad thing. But as always, man, it's your business, Big Bro Sadon Law, a.k.a. the most dangerous man in marketing, a.k.a. Mr. Better Than Your 401k, telling you to have a great Monday. I love you. It has been an honor and a blessing. I'm out.